Who is going to do the opening prayer and the...
I'll do the opening prayer.
Okay.
Do the prayer, Sarah. Yes.
So we can start it already.
Okay. Okay. To our dearly beloved Jesus, our spiritual benefactors, all that will contribute to our meeting here today. With our hearts full of gratitude, we thank you for allowing us to meet again through this new technology. As we pursue our teachings, our understanding, in helping not only ourselves, but both worlds, the spirit world and the physical world. Dear Lord, we ask for your assistance, your guidance, to help us understand the readings that we will do here today, to take with us, to give us peace and serenity, and to work towards your light, dear Father. We ask that you assist us here today, giving us the strength to understand all that's surrounding us. We thank you, dear Lord. And with that in mind, we ask permission to open our meeting today. So be it.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Let us be reminded to mute our phones. And to mute ourselves so we don't have, any kind of noise.
Mm-hmm.
We are studying. I'm hearing.
I'm having a lot of echo.
Yeah. It's better if we mute everyone. Just make sure that I'm not muted. Okay.
Who's hosting? No.
Pode fazer mute aqui.
If I can mute everyone.
Okay.
Hey, hi, Orlando. Nice to see you. Let's mute everyone.
A lot of.
Okay. So I'm going to start. We are going to be studying today, as always, on our Tuesdays at noon. Spiritism at noon. We are studying the Spirits book. And we are in book 4. As we know, the Spirits book is composed of 4 parts. So we are in part 4, Hopes and Consolations, and we are on what is called Laws of Loved Ones. And just as a reminder, also March 31st, 1869, is the day that Allan Kardec died. So we will be seeing a lot of, people celebrating his life, his accomplishments, and everything that we have received from him. And of course, the masterpiece of it all is the Spirits book. So I'm going to read to make it easier for, with our muted phones. And we will use the same methodology as we use when we are at the Spiritist Center, not having our meetings online, which is I'm going to read, comment, and then we will be open for everyone to comment, to ask questions, okay? So if you want to talk, just for us to be sure that you are going to be unmuted, for those who are showing their faces, raise your hand or make a sign like this, and then we will know that you want to make a comment, okay, or ask a question. Okay, so we are in questions 934 of the Spirit's book. Laws of Loved Ones. Is the loss of those who are dear to us a legitimate source of sorrow, as this loss is both irreparable and independent of our will? This cause of sorrow, from which neither the rich nor the poor are safe, is either a trial or atonement. However, you have the consolation of communicating with them through the means you already possess, while awaiting other means that will be more directed and more open to your senses. 935. What should we think of the opinion that communication with those beyond the grave is sacrilegious? There can be no desecration where there is respectful thought and sympathy, and when the communication is made with due respect. The proof of this is in the fact that the spirits who love you take pleasure in coming to you. They rejoice that you remember them and in being able to converse with you. There would be a desecration in this communication if it were carried out in a thoughtless or trivial manner. The possibility of communicating with spirits is extremely comforting, since it gives us the means of conversing with our relatives and friends who have left this life before us. By our contact, we draw them nearer to us, and they come to hear us and reply to us. There is no longer any separation between them and us. They aid us with their guidance and assure us of how pleased they are that we remember them. We are happy to learn that they are happy, discover the details of their new existence from them, and obtain the certainty of reuniting with them one day. So, for those that have been pursuing spiritist values, spiritist studies, or spiritual studies, it's very comforting for all of us to know that death does not represent the end of what we call life. It's just a transition to a different, so to say, a different way of living, a different level of existence. But we continue existing, and this is something that the majority of religions actually teach and have in their core of studies, the belief of immortality. What it varies from one to the next is that what happens exactly after, where we will go, whether there will be a reincarnation or not. So a few things that we have, but basically we all understand and accept immortality. And it's very comforting in the sense that we know that it doesn't mean that we will never be able to be in touch with our loved ones anymore. So for us as spiritists, we understand that they can be around us, that they can visit us, that they can talk to us with the right circumstances. Of course, this is not yet something that is, it happens so out in the open, but we understand that during our sleep state, we are capable of being with our loved ones in the spiritual world as well. And for those who preach or say that would be very damaging to try to get in touch with the spirits, the answer that we as spiritists give is the following. We do not go necessarily after them, and when we actually call for them, we understand that we have to make this call, so to say, with respect, with love, not because we want spirits or beings from the beyond to come to our side to satisfy our whims, to give us information about petty things of lives. And so in this way it would be what some people say a desecration, but not in the way that we spiritists work. In this particular, there are many people that comes to the Spiritist Center with the desire of getting in touch of their loved ones, expecting mediums from the Spiritist Center to receive communication with them. And Chico Xavier had a very good way of explaining that, because he said, well, the phone actually rings from there to here, meaning it's not up to us to say, oh, today I want to talk to Abraham Lincoln, so let me call Abraham Lincoln, summon Abraham Lincoln to our meeting, and then Abraham Lincoln's spirit is going to reply. No, it's actually the other way around. If the spirit Abraham Lincoln wants to get in touch with us, it will find the right occasion when we are going to be joined in mediumship meetings, etc., and actually come to talk to us. So this can be a bit frustrating for people because they come with this kind of expectation. But we have to understand that very much like us here, spirits also that have their affairs. They have, you know, the work that they do. Sometimes because of conditions, it's not so easy for them to get in touch with us. But like we said, just the idea of knowing that they continue existing, and that somehow, even if it's not so out in the open, so direct yet, maybe in the future it will be, right? I know this professor that says that he expects us to, in the future, to have not only cell phones, but also soul phones that we can call, you know, the soul of our loved ones. So hopefully this is going to change. So now we are going to open the mic and see if someone would like to make a comment or to ask a question.
You just have to press your space button or unmute yourselves if you want to, okay?
Okay, Orlando. One moment, we are not hearing you, Orlando. João, can you unmute Orlando, please? Or can I do that? João? Hello?
Yeah, I just did.
It is not working.
Well, he's unmuted. He can speak.
Orlando, did you set your computer or phone to for the audio, to receive audio, to give audio? We cannot hear what you're saying, and you are unmuted. Maybe you can write your question on the chat on the side. In the meantime, is there any other one that would like to say something, to ask question?
I do. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Ruth.
Could someone, some spirit, get in touch with you as prior this incarnation? Do you understand?
You mean a spirit getting in touch with us minutes before this incarnation?
Maybe days.
as a spirit, we can give communication, and we can communicate with others, alive or dead, incarnates or discarnates, any time, because our spirit is free to, even when we are in the waking state, or what we call the twilight zone, we are kind of, having taking a nap or something like that, our spirit can be very free. Normally they say, where our thought is, our spirit is. Let's say that you are here now, supposedly paying attention to our studies here. But then all of a sudden you start thinking about your brother that is in another place. You as a spirit is no longer in your body. In a way, you already moved yourself to this place where you are depicting your brother, something like that. So for a spirit, incarnate or discarnate, it has the possibility. Having the possibility, however, doesn't mean that we can do that as we please. There may be some impediments that will prevent us to reach the places and people that we would like to reach, or to send a message, or to communicate with. But the possibility does exist. The more evolved we are, the more possibilities our spirit has. It's the same thing as a computer. We can have a basic computer that, or a basic cell phone that will, do the simple things that they are supposed to be doing. But we may have, more sophisticated programs or possibilities in our phones. There are people that have phones that have a zoom camera, things like that. So our spirit is the same. The more we evolve, spiritually speaking, the more possibilities we have. And so let's say we have more possibility of going from one place to the next. It is not uncommon, though, as well, for spirits that are on the verge of dying to also visit loved ones, or, and that thing that people sometimes said, oh, I was just thinking about my sister now, and I had like a goosebump, like she was here. And then a few minutes later, you receive a phone call that, your sister has passed, or something like this. I don't know if that's exactly what you asked, but let me know if there is something else you would like to know.
I guess basically there was, would the other spirit of the other person, say that you didn't pass away, would them know when you would be also in touch? Say, like almost like thinking of someone, and then like you get a phone call, like you said, or
To them, it's so much easier than for us, because we have the impediment of the physical body. Okay, so to them, I say that when we are talking about, a loved one that has passed, and we that are still bound by this material flesh, in a way, I suppose, considering that they have the possibility, that is much easier for them than for us, because they can visit us, they have the remembrance of, engaging in conversation with us. Also, because of the law of affinity and the energy that we send, every time we think about them, they will feel our thoughts, they will receive our energy, for the good or for the bad. Okay, they will have this kind of perception, as in our case, if we have a spirit that loves us, all of a sudden, without really knowing why, you may feel enveloped by a tender, loving energy, or you can feel somehow, you know, a certain oppression or anguish that may be the result of, you know, spirit's emotions towards you, but you will not have this clear. On their case, they will know, and they have the ability to know from where this is coming from. I cannot see the person in the corner next to me. Who is that raised your hand? It's very dark. I cannot see who are you. I cannot see.
Andrea.
It's Andrea. Sorry, I cannot see myself, so I don't know if you can see me. Hi. No, I was just thinking that in the Spiritus book and conclusion, part 2, talks about the phenomenon. You remember it's sort of related to what we're studying today, right? Not studying, but your comment about the communication. And I remember in the conclusion saying that, you know, most religions have that communication, and there is a lot of scientific studies as well that prove that those things happen, and that when people come to the spiritualist faith looking for that as a way of joining the faith, it tells you that it's not, right, what the spiritism is all about. It's just one thing that we have, and many other religions have too. So I thought it was interesting how it correlates to what we were talking about. That's all.
Okay, anyone else?
I have a question, Ju.
Yeah.
When we lose a loved one, we can help them and we can hinder their progress by the way we feel that loss, correct? So in other words, if I summon that presence, if I summon the thought of the person, and I want the person to be next to me and blah, 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 and, you know, and I cry and I mope, and this is something that is not positive for the spirit that has passed. So there are ways to act in order to help the ones that are passed, as opposed to hinder their advancement and development, correct?
And this is actually the next question. So let me read the next question, and then I will, which is a big one, and then we will talk about it. What effect does the inconsolable sorrow of survivors have upon the spirits who are the object of that sorrow? A spirit is touched by the memory and regrets of those it has loved. However, persistent and unreasonable sorrow is painful because in excessive grief, it sees a lack of faith in the future and confidence in God. Consequently, this ends up being an obstacle to advancement and perhaps even to their reunion. For a spirit who is happier than it was on earth, regretting the change in life is to regret being happy. Let us take the example of two friends who are prisoners locked up in the same prison. Both of them will be free one day, but one is released before the other. Would it be kind on the part of the one who remains to regret that the other leaves sooner? Would there not be more selfishness than affection when one wants another to remain captive and suffering in the same circumstance as oneself? The same is true with two individuals who love one another on earth. If one leaves first, the other should rejoice while patiently awaiting for his or her own freedom. We may illustrate the subject by means of another comparison. You have a friend whose circumstances result in a painful existence, although he or she remains physically close to you. Thus, your friend's health or interests require a change to another country where he or she will be better off in every respect. However, your friend will no longer be near you at every moment, but we will still keep contact with you. The separation between you will only be in your daily life. Should you grieve for the loss of physical contact, considering it is for your friend's own good? Spiritism gives us clear proof of a future life and its presence around us, as well as the continued affection of people we love it and the relationships we are able to keep. Spiritism offers us the greatest consolation for the most painful of human sorrows. Spiritism eliminates loneliness and abandonment because friends with whom one can hold affectionate conversation always surround the most isolated of human beings. We are often impatient with the trials and tribulations of life. They seem so intolerable that we sometimes believe that we cannot endure them. Yet, if we face them with courage, and if we are able to silence our complaints, we will rejoice in the remembrance of the experience when we have finished our human existence. The same way that patient rejoices when they recover after completing a painful course of treatment that has cured the disease. So here, I think, the reply from the spirits is very clear. It's hard for us because when we are used to have the physical presence of people, we have this sort of selfish, possessive way of loving people. And we want them close. We want to touch them. I mean, we are experiencing all these things now, when we are kind of obliged to be in isolation because of this virus. So we are missing, the hugs, the handshakes, the physical presence, the sound of the voices, because it's not the same through the computer. I mean, it's great, but it's still not the same. So, but here they are saying, when we are thinking about the loved ones, we have to sort of free them. We have to let them go and live the experiences that they have to live now. They are now living a different experience. They don't no longer need it to be here on earth with us. It doesn't mean that we are not going to miss them, that we should not be thinking about them. There is a difference between thinking about them with love, missing them in a healthy way, and being in despair and stopping your life because life is not the same, or I cannot go on living because so and so is no longer, living in this planet with me. It's two different things. You're going to miss people. You're going to miss the loved ones. But this is what they say here in terms of spiritism is so comforting, because we know that this is not exactly a separation, not even at the moment, because they can come and visit us. We can go when we are in a sleep state and visit them. We will still be bound by the energies of love or hatred, but so it's not that is a relationship that is going to end. On the contrary, the more we learn, the more we are together, the more we are going to be strengthening this relationship. So the only thing here is, be happy for them. They came here, they had their, let's so to say, their assignments, they completed them, they are now free, they could return to their true home, which is the spiritual home, and we should be happy to them and say, you know, sooner than I think I'm going to be joining you. So this is how life it is. Again, we know that it's not an easy thing to do. And we are not saying that we are not going to miss them or wish that they could be with us, especially in some occasions that the thought of them comes so strong to us, like in celebrations, in moments of despair, that we would like that special person to be next to you. And who is to say that they are not? So, okay, let's open the mic and wait for your comments.
If you want to unmute yourself in a phone, just press *6.
Anyone? Any comments? Any questions? Well, since we are living in a time that has been very, very hard, and we may be losing friends or loved ones to this virus. We don't know. Let's remember to be sensitive when we are talking to people, because if at the same time we know and we do understand that life goes on, that our relationships will not have an end with the death of the physical body, we have to be sympathetic to the pains of others and to what others are going through and or will be going through, and respect their pain, their sadness, if that is the case, and understand, like we said, that of course we are going to be missing the people that we will lose, the loved ones. So it is consoling, this understanding, but also the way we will express ourselves to people that are just going through that has to be very sensible, okay? And remember that each one of us will feel differently. And even when we have the knowledge, for some of us it may be harder than to others. And for people that do not have the knowledge, it definitely is going to be even more painful. Of course, we are talking if they really have a good relationship with the ones that are losing. So let's always keep that in mind and not being the person that is insensitive because, you know, it's not happening with me, so everyone should be okay with what is happening, you know. So let's think about it. It's very hard. I mean, a mother who has just lost a child, we go and say, oh, don't worry, your child is not dead. It's in the spirit world, and you can get in touch with them, and he will come and or she, and it's not the way it works, okay? We have to open the possibility and to expand the horizon of people to this understanding and this knowledge, but always also respecting their process and their pain. Okay, anything?
Shisada, this is
Yes.
Anna. I've been dealing with a lot of people that are in a bit of a panic, and it's been interesting to to reflect on each of these engagements that I had and how in some cases I really failed miserably and not handling it well. And so far, the interesting thing I've learned is really that a lot of them just want to talk. They want to vent. And initially, I would get a bit uncomfortable just because there's so much negativity that and saying something, they would get even more upset, sometimes even offended. Oh, don't come with that spiritist crap with me. And, they would get very aggressive. So then I decided, okay, I won't say anything. And then they just want to vent, talk and complain. And before you could just hug people and let them vent. Now you can't even hug, but they're very negative about how they're feeling. But to some extent, at some point, I just realized, okay, I still have to listen. It's not very good for me. I don't feel very healthy afterwards, but it is somehow charity in a sense as well, to just listen to how they're feeling, even though they're complaining a lot and it's very negative. So it's hard to know to what extent you just sit there and listen to all that negativity, but to what extent isn't that also part of our role in being and standing together in this situation and just being there to listen? So for the moment, I decided to just shut up and listen and just say, yes, I'm here for you. But sometimes it's difficult to just pick up the phone and I know what's coming after. But to what extent do we interact and try to say something that is hopeful and offend people, or just sit there and listen and then you feel drained from that energy? It's sometimes a bit difficult to choose.
I think this is the perfect moment for us spiritists to actually show that we are spiritists. And it's not by preaching. It's not by trying to, convince people that, see how I'm right and how my values are going to support me during these times of struggle. And no, I think it's actually, the time where we have embraced something that has been present in our lives for some of us for so long, for others more recently, but something that represents this transformation in us. And this is how we can help. Very much like the doctors and nurses, because of their expertise, they are now even putting at risk their own physical health. They are helping and presenting themselves to work. We, as spiritual people, spiritual guides in a way, even if not such so wonderful, but yeah, we do have the knowledge. We have to present ourselves also to spiritually help other people. And in the same way that the professionals of physical health are impacted by, the risks and that they will physically expose themselves, we, spiritually speaking, may also feel, like you said, sad because they are not open to receive more knowledge and understand. At times it may seem to be a bit of a burden to have to be the garbage area where people will just come and throw all their garbage on top of you just to release themselves. But listen, this is the way we can assist now. And again, it's not by preaching. I think we have to be very diplomatic. Like I said, we cannot come now and just say, oh no, because I'm a spiritist, I'm doing great. We are not doing great. Don't you know, fool yourselves. I mean, we are doing okay. We are doing the best that we can. We understand. We know that there are lessons behind all of that we have to learn, that this is a time for our transformation. This is a great opportunity for a lot of change, but it's being hard. It's being hard for all of us. And for people who have not the understanding, they do not know why. I mean, there is no one to blame for that. That's why they are crazy about putting the blaming in the people, in the Chinese, in the bats, in the conspiration ideas, or even God, because normally we just feel good when we blame someone. And now we cannot blame not even the virus that is not even exactly a living thinking being. And I mean, it's really hard. So I think the best way that we have to serve in our field of expertise for all of us that are here is actually to offer this assistance in terms of helping the resilience of others. And I mean, and people will need to vent, to get into this process of catharsis, of, you know, and sometimes, you know, instead of feeling so affected, just by knowing that this person is opening up to you, it's because this person trusts you. It should be reward enough, you know. Well, this person could be talking to anyone else, but it's talking to you. It felt comfortable with you. So in a way, they sense it, that you would be, you know, represent some sort of helping. And this should be reward enough. What we have to learn on our side, which is what, you know, the therapists do, which is those that are dedicated to the work of fraternal assistance in the Spiritist Center, is after the venting, the conversation is over, you turn off this this channel in yourself as well. Do not keep on thinking about the problems of others. I mean, and understand that they just came to you. They just need to talk. You were there. You lended your ears, your attention to them. And once it's over, and do not linger on the problems to not burden yourself unnecessarily.
I have a comment too. When we talk about preaching, I feel that because sometimes I hear, even as a joke, or as an ironic joke within family, or, you know, friends, when people talk about a problem, they say, well, don't talk to Lillian about that because she won't understand. Because people have this perception that we think ourselves as better than others because we are spiritists, or which is completely the other way around. But people have this perception that they're gonna get the sermon if they come to us with something that is not very enlightened. Let's put it this way. And I think this is a risk that we run every time that we fall into the mistake of preaching, because we end up being less useful to people than the other way around. People end up not coming to us for help because they're afraid of being chastised or being, you know, getting the sermon. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, that's what happens sometimes. But you know, other times the same people when they are really going through struggles, they will know where to look for. Yesterday, someone wrote to me and asked, how are you doing? And I said, well, because I'm a spiritist, I'm not feeling, or I'm not getting in despair such as others are getting in despair, but it's been hard. So, you see what I did in a way? I said, I'm also going through stuff, but it's not as hard, or because I have this spiritual understanding that is helping me to cope more with the situation that we are living. I mean, after 2 weeks, I don't know what is going to be my reply in another month, okay? Maybe 2 weeks is my limit. 3 weeks can be my limit, or 4 weeks. I don't know about 6 weeks or 8 weeks. But so far, it's, and yeah, but I think it's I experience what you have said a lot in terms, oh, here comes her, like, my son, even sometimes he said, oh, don't start your ceremony or giving me a talk, because everything he asks, I assume this posture that I'm going to start giving a talk, it's stronger than myself. But yeah, it's so hard. It's so hard sometimes. Anyone else?
And I think sometimes people want just to talk. They don't want to to have our opinion back. They just need to talk about their problems, right?
Most of the time. Oh, poor Orlando. Okay, maybe next time you will not have problems with speakers. You can even call by your phone, because there is a number that you can call, okay, Orlando? So we will hear your voice. I can read it perfectly. Thank you for showing this to us. But next time, what you can do, Orlando, you can call, you can connect through your computer, if you're using the computer now, and call in your phone as well, and then you talk over the phone and you see what is happening in the computer. Sometimes people do that. They have to use 2 devices. One is not enough. Yes, Eleni, that's really the case. In most of the conversations, people actually just like to talk about themselves, their needs. And so yeah, we have to be understanding. And like I said, in a way, if we passed our discomfort in seeing that they are somehow sometimes just using us, we could be thinking, wow, this person thought that I am a person that he or she trusts to open up to me.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Andrea.
Another situation that I've been getting, and I don't know if any of you have, is where people come to you and say, so since you guys are spiritists and you know what's going to happen, what does this whole thing mean? I don't know if anybody has been getting that, like like, I think, I don't know who was speaking before because my video is a bit funny. Like they call because they don't want to hear, but they also want to, poke back at you and say, okay, so now explain to me, since you're always explaining everything else. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, we all living through this. One thing that I've been trying to do is that, at the New York Times and the NBC Nightly News, they always have a part of the positive news. They close the nightly news with something positive, or the New York Times has this, this part that it says, you know, the case is cured, or things that people are doing to help others. And I repeat that. And then they kept saying, but where did you see that? I was like, well, it's, if you tune to the positive, you can see there's plenty of news about good things. But I don't know what to say when they come back and say, okay, now explain it. And I'm like, why are we supposed to explain it?
Okay, this is an easy answer. I don't know. But I'm sure God has a meaning for all are happening with the humanity. Then we don't have like a ball to prediction everything. And it's easy to answer. I don't know. But I really believe the transformation of humanity is for better of our planet.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah. Yeah, we have no idea. I mean, not that we don't have any idea, but our answers are not going to satisfy them as well. You know, why do we have to go through suffering? Because this is the way we chose. We can evolve through love or through pain. Humanity has been choosing pain for quite some time because to them it seems the easier way. Not that we are choosing pain just to be for the sake of clarity, but we have been choosing paths that leads to pain. It gives us immediate satisfaction, but it comes with a price. Like, you know, oh, I'm going to eat all this chocolate cake today because it's delicious. So while I'm eating the chocolate cake, I'm in heaven, right? And I'm not thinking about tomorrow. I don't want to think about tomorrow. And that's it. But then when tomorrow and after tomorrow comes and I see that I am 5 pounds more than I was 3 days ago, and that I've been having a stomach ache because of that, and then perhaps in 3, 5, 10 years time, I'm giving myself an ulcer because the way I'm eating, then, you know, we are just thinking, we are just reasoning as children for, you know, immediate satisfaction. So we constantly have been choosing immediately satisfaction. And normally immediate satisfaction comes with a price and sometimes very high in the future. And so, but people do not want to hear that now. And this is where, when the sermon comes, right, Lillian? Because if you say that, oh, here comes you with your explanations, or, you know, yeah, but I mean, so it's being hard. I think the best that we can do is to say, hey, yeah, who knows? Like Sonia said, it's in any case, in my case, I've been able to, you hint the positivity. I've been reading so many good news, people having wonderful initiatives to help others, and we've been having this meeting online, and I've been thinking more about myself and reevaluating my current values, and improving my cooking and cleaning and God knows where else, my patience, because, you know, we have to be all 24/7 in contact with people sometimes, you know, and then we just show the positivity. But yeah, it's going to get harder, you know. Like I said, it's just 2 weeks. Imagine another month. This is just an exercise so far. So let's be patient and understanding with people, and I mean, and at the same time, we should not ourselves refrain from asking for help if this is the case. Like, you know, today's been a very hard day. I really need help. I really need someone to talk to me. Why not? You know, we are not superheroes. We are just trying to become better. And I think this is what we have to strive for. Okay. If no one else has anything else to say, maybe we can go to end our meetings. Just be reminded that we have a meeting this Thursday as well. We are studying the gospel in a group of the Spiritist group of Connecticut. So we will be sending the link for those who would like to participate. It's also at 12. And we have our regular meetings on Thursday nights and starting at 6:30 and Mondays. And we have just now put our YouTube channel, Spiritist Group of New York YouTube channel, in use again. So hopefully soon we will have, I think we are going to be sending some of our studies there as well, because it can be useful to people, and especially in terms of having materials in English. And so go there, Spiritist Group of New York YouTube channel, and subscribe so you can, you know, help us and have more subscribers there. And yeah, I think that's it. Okay, and for those who speak Portuguese, today at 7 p.m. I'll be giving a talk about how prayer can help us to overcome difficulties. It's 8 p.m. in Brazil, 7 p.m. here in New York. We have sent the information through our ways of communicating as well, okay? We miss you too, Orlando. I'm happy that you're back, that you managed to join us. Okay, so I'll see you again very soon. Okay, so we will do our final prayer. Let us ask the good spirits that have been helping us and assisting us, especially in times of struggles, so that we can have more understanding, more strength, be more courageous to cope with the difficulties that we have. But we also pray, and we especially pray, to learn from this period of distress that we are all living, that they may represent to each one of us precious lessons, so that as spirits, learning from them, we may evolve even more. But we send our prayers to the whole world, thinking about everyone that is struggling at this moment through different kinds of pains and loss, not having the ability of understanding why we are going through this situation. Where are they facing so much troubles, so much pain and suffering? We ask that the benefactors, the good spirits, through the mercy of our Heavenly Creator, may reach each and every one of our brothers and sisters in every corner of our planet, so that they can all feel embraced. They can all feel the certainty that the loving presence of our Heavenly Creator, the mercy of God, is with us. We pray for our loved ones, praying for that we all may be safe, in good health. and that with the permission of our Heavenly Creator, that this virus may be eradicated from our planet as soon as possible, so that we can start a new era of transformation, of regeneration, starting from ourselves. We ask for our benefactors, our guardian angels, to protect us, to give us the strength, and to enlighten us as to the best way that we can serve ourselves and humanity, all of those that may look for our support. May our houses be blessed, be cleansed. May our physical bodies at this moment receive the necessary healing for us to be in good physical health. And may the good spirits, our brother Jesus and our Heavenly Creator, be with us throughout these days. Okay,